All right, guys, we are going to go live in three, two, one. And we are live. Let me just check Twitter to make sure. Okay, this did post. I'm going to go ahead and share it in the trading pit, just so everybody knows what's going on. And then, we'll do some intros and stuff. And then we'll get rocking and rolling. It looks like everything seems to be working as well. That notify, and I'm opening up Periscope so I can see all the wonderful comments from everybody.
Oh yeah, can't wait for that one.
Oh yeah. So welcome everybody. I am Cryptomessiah with Real Hero Labs, I guess, and I'm hosting today NekoZ and JBCryptoKing. Now these guys are the guys you've been hearing about all over Twitter that are flipping Pokemon cards for tens of thousands of dollars. They've sold boxes of Pokemon cards for six figures. You know what? I've been in crypto for 8 years now, and I've seen a lot of outrageous shit, but I don't think I've seen anything nearly this outrageous shit. So I want to give our guests a chance to introduce themselves. I'm sure you already know them. They both have fairly large accounts on Twitter and have been part of the crypto community for quite some time as well. So I'll go ahead and pass it to maybe Nico, and he can introduce himself, and then we'll go to Jake, and we'll let him introduce himself as well.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? So NekoZ on Twitter. I know probably most of you guys have talked with a lot of you guys already. Known Messi for a minute now. Met in person, talked to different conferences and so forth. We've kicked it a few times, and I'm here. Typically, I'm a full-time trader / investor. I'm pretty early investor in the Hxro itself, and I guess in the last 3 months, Jake kind of got me into the the Pokemon scene, and it's just been paying out in spades. I mean, we've been closing, $100,000 deals to, taking our portfolio and taking and really pulling like DeFi gains, right? It's not just crypto, but we've been able to sizably multiply our accounts. So, there you go. We're here to explain how to do it.
All right, Jake?
Yeah, so I'm Jake. In the crypto space, I'm known as the Crypto King. In the Pokemon space, it's Collectibles Guru. Makes really no difference. It's the same Jake. In the Pokemon space, we noticed that there weren't many traders. There were many collectors. And so we started implementing standard trading techniques to Pokemon cards, and it worked exceptionally well. And we picked Pokemon cards for their nostalgia and for their demand, but for no other reason besides they're easily tradable. And so just like cryptocurrency, Pokemon cards have very similar attributes, and we applied the same trading techniques and have been exceptionally profitable in both Pokemon and crypto.
So I mean, that's just like pretty outrageous, and maybe a lot of people think like you guys just stumbled on this. I mean, from what you just said, Jake, it sounds like it was a pretty calculated move. And from what Nico said, it looks like Jake was the one that kind of originally saw, hey, there might be something going on here, and you guys as buddies were like, hey, let's go get this, let's get after it. What the fuck, guys? Like, how did this actually start? When did you? Because both of you made a little bit of money in crypto, you had a little bit of capital, to get started with, but what was like the aha moment for you when you were like, yo, we're about to rule this space, like we're about to start kicking ass? Because I mean, you guys have been, like I was talking to Jake before the show, you're making deals with celebrities, getting featured on big YouTube channels and shit like that. Like, I mean, you guys are flipping Pokemon cards for major sums of money. So like, what was the aha moment, and what was like the exact moment that all of this began?
Jake, by all means, take it.
So it kind of all started when COVID, obviously, everyone was bored at home. So I was bored at home. I was doing a lot of trading, had majority wins, some losses, and I was looking to where I could pivot wealth that wouldn't get lost if an exchange went down. I'm like, I could actually pivot it into watches and Pokemon cards. So I started buying really expensive Pokemon cards. Like what I thought was really expensive at the time was like 4, 5, 8,000. And I'd buy 2 or 3 of them, and there'd only be 5 on eBay. So I'd buy the cheapest 2 or 3, and now the price would be 20, 30% higher. And I was like, whoa, you're telling me if I spend $12,000 on a card that's my favorite card, the price is now 30% more, and that's all it took as far as an investment. I'm like, wait. So I realized that the markets had so little supply, and then I started looking up the supply and the demand. The supply of the 9s and the 10s in first editions, it's a couple hundred. So you've got supply fixed at a couple hundred. It's not like there's going to be many more dropped into circulating supply, even if they open new packs, because how many 9s and 10s come out of boxes. And so you have very limited circulating supply and demand that continues forever. So I realized, wow, we've got the whole circulating supply thing, which is why Bitcoin's so valuable. Why doesn't that apply to Pokemon? And I applied that same type of frame of thought and started collecting Pokemon cards with my Bitcoin proceeds and watched the prices rise naturally. And I'm like, I could do a lot of massive damage in the space if I start driving demand, if I start creating marketing, socials, media for it. And no one was doing it. There is no one Pokemon famous. I mean, there are a couple, 2-3 guys doing it, but no one who really had the ability to blow it out. And I figured if I blew out the demand for the limited supply cards, which is what Pokemon is, it's a 25-year-old franchise, then the prices could be parabolic. And here we are 6 months later with most cards having 10x.
So, you said you had some cards that you liked, and you had a little bit of cash, and you were like, hey, there's not much supply here, and when I bought these cards, of course they introduced some demand into the system, and the prices went up. What were these first cards you bought?
I actually have one of the first ones I bought. So one of the first ones I bought was a Blastoise first edition, but back then I could afford a 10. The 10 that I paid for was just over $4,000. This is a 9. You can see at the top, the 9. This 9 right now is like $17,000 to $22,000, depending on if it's BGS, depending on its upgrades, depending on if it's PSA. And there's one being auctioned right now that's going to push 20,000 that ends in a couple days on eBay. So the first card I ever bought was a 10 of this exact card for $4,000, and now the card in a 9 is going for 20, and this is over a 6-month period.
Yeah,
so,
Rookie just bought that. Rookie just bought that like 3 days ago from us. And,
yeah, a lot less than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's already up. 30%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's extremely
Actually,
impressive.
He's already up. Yeah, a lot.
Well, I mean, you said the 9s now are going for 20. How much more valuable is a 10 grade than a 9?
That is in the eye of the holder, because as you saw the 9 I showed you, they're immaculate. Sometimes
I was about to say, yeah.
Front and back. So the price of the 10 is usually 3 to 4 times, even 5 or 6 times the price of the 9, which is absurd, because you're getting into whether or not there's one little fleck of dust like on the back or not. So in my opinion, the 9s are where the major money's at long term, because the 10s, I think they're too low of supply, and the prices will fluctuate too heavily. The 9s, in my opinion, you're still getting gem mint, and you're still getting almost perfect condition.
So the 9s are just basically more liquid. There's more supply, there's more demand. More people that can't afford a 9.
More people can afford a 9. I mean, if the 9's 20,000, the 10's going to be 50 plus, and it's much harder to find a buyer that can pay $50,000 for a card than a buyer that can pay 15.
So, Nico, what was your first Pokemon card your first badass Pokemon card you bought?
It was actually that exact card too, believe it or not. Jake actually convinced me to buy it, a first edition one, and I bought that, and then I bought a bunch of hollow ones, and I think my first price for that 9 was about $3,100 was how much I paid for that 9. And then today there's an auction going on right now. It's gonna run north of like $22,000 as it is, and I mean that's within 3.5 months. The thing about it is I've only been in the scene for about 3.5 months, so it's just grown so quickly.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. I mean, and we'll get into, because you said you're treating this like a market, and that's kind of what differentiates you between yourselves and the longtime collectors. And we'll get into the beef that you guys have with the longtime collectors in a bit. But with any market, especially if you're treating something like a market, if the prices are going up, it's at some point the bubble's going to pop, right? It's inevitable. And the real question is I mean, how long can you foresee this going for? Because it is a little bit different than cryptocurrency, and it is more akin to like maybe Bitcoin than some kind of shitcoin or anything like that, and maybe even better than Bitcoin in terms of just straight up scarcity. They, like you said, it's a 25-year franchise. It's not like it's going anywhere. There's a worldwide audience. I would even argue that more people in the world have been exposed to Pokemon than have been exposed to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of guys, especially, that are coming into an age, where if they're successful, they might have enough money where, they'd want to collect some of these things from their past. I was talking with Jake before the stream, and right when this first edition Pokemon shit came out, like, I was all about it. I was getting all sorts of Pokemon cards, and I remember trading Pokemon cards, with my friends at elementary school. And if you didn't have Pokemon cards, you were a fucking loser. And that's pretty much what it boiled down to.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got Pokemon cards if you wanted to fit in on the playground, because everybody was, setting up trades, and, the cool kids were hustling, and, stuff like that. The early grind, the early hustle. But I mean, it's just like, it's so crazy to me to see you guys have come into this space, and kind of realized something that, not many other people have realized. I'm sure there's very few people in addition to you guys that have the supply you do, that are true sellers, that are flippers. I mean, I'm sure you guys do have some kind of appreciation for it, and some kind of attachments. It's like, Jake's got one of his original cards there, and I'm sure he could have already, sold it, and maybe he will, and maybe he's just got really strong hands. And that
Jake
might be going what's on. Yeah.
Jake has the appreciation. For me, I actually don't. I've always been a Pokemon fan. Don't get me wrong, 100%. But there's definitely a difference between Jake and I. Jake is definitely a collector. He collects other assets, outside of Pokemon. I personally am very minimalistic. I mean, I have some shoes, but for the most part, I don't really collect too much stuff.
I was about to say, I just noticed you've got your shoe game going on there in the background.
Yeah, I got my shoe game going on there. But besides that, I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really collect too much, but yeah, Jake does.
I mean, Jake, how long have you been collecting shit? Because I actually saw a video of you, where you had like maybe some baseball cards and basketball cards and shit like that. I mean, are you just flipping Pokemon cards, or is your aim, bigger than just Pokemon in itself?
So I was always nostalgic about Pokemon, which is why I picked Pokemon to begin with. I wasn't looking to buy and sell. I was looking to just like buy and hold, pivot wealth from crypto into highly appreciating assets, whether they were watches or Pokemon or gold. So Pokemon was just one of the ones I picked, and they started to move the quickest. So I realized I need to put more into the coin that's running. So I put more into the shit coin that was running, and Pokemon literally took off. And so what I noticed about Pokemon was the supply. With how low the supply was, you could move demand very, very simply with nothing. And you asked a very poignant question. All markets have bubbles. Is Pokemon in a bubble right now? And my argument to that is, yes, obviously all markets have bubbles. But a very unique approach is not necessarily all markets have bubbles. If you look at the highest end art markets or the highest end car collector markets, the old vintage cars, the Bugattis from the 30s and 40s, like we're talking like the real old school cars, the cars million plus, they don't go down in value. They don't sell one lower than the last sold ever. They hold value or appreciate. Same with the Picassos, same with the Renoir. So you have a specific group of collectibles that are in another category. It's not like stocks where they could have their bubble. And if Pokemon is classified into that unique category of collectibles, then there won't be a pullback. So
that actually makes a lot of sense, and I think I can actually even get on board with that. Yeah.
And
that's
what
interesting.
Attacks at most is usually supply. And so because you can't print 25-year-old cards again, I mean, they've tried to. They've come out with base set 2, they've come out with legendary set, they've come out with XY, and they're just copying the base set cards from 1999. No one really cares about the new sets. People care most about what's oldest and what's most nostalgic. So
well, yeah, you can just print. You can print. The new sets have an infinite supply, right? I mean, they can print as much as they want.
Right.
It's about sales.
Yeah. And they actually just did that recently. So there was one like super hyped up set before, relatively recently, that I was actually looking into it when Jake brought me into Pokemon, right? I didn't know anything about the old sets. I was diving into the new sets, and I just kind of, playing around with what I saw was making money. And there was one set called Hidden Fates that like had a Charizard that everybody wanted, and it was going up in value. And then what happened is that recently they announced that they were going to print out a whole new supply of them. Exact same copy, whole new supply, same exact box. So then guess what? Just drop in value all of a sudden. This is a huge supply increase. but you'll never get that with the 1999 set.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, I saw Nye posted on his Twitter a couple days ago. He was opening like a whole shit ton of like newer looking cards, and you know, I was like, oh, okay, like you got like, you know, y'all are the crew. You know, like you guys are looking through like new cards and shit too. Like, you know, what's going on here? I mean, so is there still value? I mean, maybe we're not gonna get a fucking new card worth $50,000 right now, but is there still any kind of value? You know, like, let's say if I'm a noob and I'm like, you know what, like I've got a couple $100, and I want to do a little bit of gambling. You know, can I go buy any kind of booster pack or anything that's out right now and hit, you know, not like crazy gold like you guys are, you know, but hit some kind of gold? And do you think that those cards right now that might be rare right now are gonna, you know, be good holds for the long term, or is it really just more about the straight up, you know, the shadowless first gens, you know, all that kind of shit?
So, I mean, I personally think there is. I mean, if you're a noob coming into the space and you want to throw in a few $100, you want to go ahead and get some of the newer boxes, I think there is a market for that. The main thing that's happening right now is that it's also a rush to the market, right? Because this box is so new, and you also have 3 Charizards in this box, there isn't very many graded ones in the market, because there's a process to the grading thing, right? It's not just as easy as just simply, you know, pulling the card out and then not getting it graded and expecting it to be worth something. There actually is a very small supply of graded cards for the new Charizards, which is why you're starting to see a lot of people wanting to open these things. Now, personally, in this specific box, I actually think this box has legs. And the only reason why I say that is because for the first time ever, you're getting a box that has 3 Charizards inside of it. You know, you have the rainbow one, you have the black one, and then it comes with a Charizard. So I think in the future, this box, you know, in my opinion, for someone who's a smaller investor, smaller flipper, I think that this box could easily 3-4x in the future if you hold the box as it is.
So you're saying don't open the box? You know, if you do want to speculate.
In my opinion, I think that there will be a 3 to 4x on this box in the future, just by what I've seen for the newer cards.
How much does the box cost now?
You can buy the box for $70 right now online.
Oh, sick! All right.
Yeah, you buy the box for $70 online. You know,
I kind of want to get some, but you know, I don't know how my wife's gonna look at me.
If you're gonna get some, I guess the quote unquote biggest alpha would be to get the sealed cases. So they send these sealed cases to card shops. They're still within a cardboard box, and then within the cardboard box there's 10 individual packs. Get the cardboard box one, because in the cardboard box typically you're almost guaranteed 2 to 3 Charizards. So what a lot of people will do is that they will actually open these boxes, and if they pull the rainbow Charizard, then they'll sell the other boxes on eBay. And even though it's a sealed box, because now it's a macro game, they'll think they still have a chance of getting it. It's like not only is it a small chance within a box, but there's also a small chance within that giant box.
Sure.
So that's like the place to get those big boxes and then sell that big box in the future. I learned that recently. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wild. So I mean, you could already, you know, pull you could get super lucky. You could pull the good cards out of the box, and then you could sell. You could dump the rest of the cards on people that are.
Yeah, and no one knows the difference. It's
right. It's and honestly, I wouldn't even say that that's unethical or immoral. Like people are buying a box.
It's a chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a guaranteed metric, you know, like
sure.
box. So it's like, all right.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, guys. You were talking about like grading of these cards. It's my understanding, and really just because, you know, I've been so interested in this. You know, I've been watching y'all's videos and, you know, following your Twitters and following your journey. Even, you know, before I reached out to have this stream, because I was like, what the fuck are these guys doing? You know, I respect the hustle. But you know, it's my understanding what's there. You said there's PSA and then there's BG, and those are the two.
BGS, yeah.
BGS, okay. What is there one that's more desirable than the other? Why do these grading companies have any kind of credibility at all? Are they known for grading, you know, baseball cards and other shit as well? And that's where they've gotten this credibility from. Why can't we just say, hey, you know, there's a big backlog in the grading. You know, we're gonna get some professional graders in here that have some clout, and you know, we're gonna open our new grading company, you know, and we're gonna start, you know, rifling through these cards, and we're gonna throw, you know, we're gonna fuck this shit up, you know, we're gonna get crazy about it.
Go ahead, Jake.
literally exactly what you just described are like some of the biggest issues in the Pokemon space with grading, and they've already tried. You said PSA and BGS. There's two more big ones: SGC, Sports Grading Card Company, and then CGC, which used to primarily do comics, and now they just moved into the card game as well. So there are really four big players in the space, but only the top two have any real respect. Like an SGC Charizard 10, maybe 15,000. A PSA 10, the exact same card, 35,000.
Sure.
So you're talking 2.5 times in price just for the label.
And how long does this grading process take though? Because I mean, you guys earlier were saying that like there's a backlog in the grading.
It's become astronomical. It takes, if you do the 2-day process, it takes like 10 business days. If you do the 10-day process, it can take 2 or 3 months. And then it goes all the way down to like the unlimited process, which is like you could have your cards waiting at PSA for over a year. So right now there's such a, and expensive. So right now there's such a backlog in grading, and there's so few reputable companies to have your stuff graded that the supply issue is an even bigger issue. Stuff isn't coming onto the market while the demand is exploding. So there's a big issue.
What's the upside of getting that 10-day grade or unlimited grade, you know, relative to the 2-day grade? You know, when I buy a card that's, you know, the BGS 9, you know, when I look at that, do I see that like, oh, that's a 2-day grade 9, like maybe they might have missed some shit, or like what's up with that?
That's just how quickly you want the card back. So if you want the card back in 2 days and you want the grader to put this to the front of the pile of the stuff he's already working on, you can pay him 4 times the cost of a normal grade.
How much does it cost?
I believe right now the same day is $250 or $500. So you can literally walk in, get it graded same day, and then walk out. But they've closed their doors to like outside people due to COVID, so you can't do that anymore. I believe it's $250 for 1-day turnaround, $125 for 2-day, something like 60 to 70 for 2 to 10 day, and then it starts dropping off significantly once you go beyond that.
So just out of curiosity, you know, you said there's obviously this huge price disparity between, you know, the less reputable, you know, graded cards and the ones that are more reputable. You know, what if I go to a company that's less reputable, but you know, like that, hey, like these guys have been grading shit for a long time. Like maybe they're not as accepted, but I can buy this Charizard for, you know, $14,000 here. It's a 10 over here. You know, I'm gonna fucking send this shit into the reputable grading company. I'm gonna pay $500 for that 2-day grade and immediately flip this, you know, with that BGS sticker on the top. You know, is that something that works?
That's a hustle people want to try, and it fails all the
cut off right there. Yeah, but what he was saying is that that is a hustle that people try, and it does fail a lot of times. But the thing about it is that
it
like,
fails all the time.
okay, there you go. Now he's.
You went out for a second, Jake.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So yes, that's a hustle that lots of people try, but I tried it with 132 cards recently, and not one got bumped. So I sent in 130 cards at like $30 a card, and instead of upgrading any of my cards, they sent me a bill for $3,500 and all my cards back in the mail. So that was a major L. So I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. If you do want to buy a card that's like an SGC 10, you can literally crack the top, take the card out, put it in a new plastic sleeve, and send it into BGS or PSA like it's never been graded. And that's the only way you're likely to possibly get a 10. They usually won't cross a 10 to it.
Right. But I mean, you know, how much is the BGS Charizard, you know, 10 relative to the, but I mean, SBC, is that what you were saying, or?
So like a PSA 10 Charizard would be 35,000.
Sure.
An SGC 10, let's say, is 15,000. It's a $20,000 difference. But remember, if it comes back a 9 instead of a 10,
then you're fucked.
A grade, then you go to 6,000. So you lose almost 10,000 right off the top.
I see what you're saying. So it's almost not worth it to,
It's almost not worth it. It's more worth just holding it for the few months and let it appreciate naturally than running the risk of dropping something 15 to 6.
How much are the ungraded cards going for? I mean, have you guys played any lottery games, you know, where you just scoop up, you know, shitloads of ungraded cards and try to send them in and hit the jackpot?
One of our partners came in. So Luke, our third partner, He's the guy who, you know, he was a owner of CoinMarketCap,
Yeah.
and he was the one who got the season. Yeah, you know Luke. So Luke came into the company, and he brought his supply of Charizards and so forth, and they were ungraded cards. So we currently, did we get them back, Jake, from BGS, or are they?
I'm back yet. They're still at BGS.
Yeah, but you know how much that bill cost? That bill was 15 grand to get them all graded.
Ooh, yeah. So it takes money to make money. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up front. So it's not like, you know, you can do a payment plan. No, you gotta come up 15 grand worth of cash up front. You know, hoping that it's gonna turn profit.
I just have to stop this for a second. Somebody in chat has said, "What the fuck? NekoZ is a guy." Nico, do you want to address that? Because I mean, I know the backstory behind it.
You know what it was? Quite honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of fucking hate for this, but I was getting so frustrated at a lot of the girls in this industry. I was getting so fucking frustrated because I'm over here shooting out chart after fucking chart, grinding it out. I mean, you see my feed. I'm like posting Bitcoin charts. Doesn't matter how fucking accurate I am, and I'm just getting like free engagements on it. Whereas, you know, at that time, you know, it was kind of on the ramp up. You know, you had, you know, look, I'm friends with Finally and stuff like that, so I can pretty much say this. I'll joke with her about it. But like, you know, she's posting a selfie and she gets 350 likes. And I'm fucking pissed. I'm just like I made you guys money if you followed me, like, and
Right.
I'm getting nothing out of this, and I'm busting my ass off. And so I was just like, fuck it, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna. At this time, everybody was face apping themselves. So that's what I did, and then I kept it, and I started getting a little bit more engagements, and then it kind of stopped. I mean, recently it's just been Pokemon that's been giving me engagements, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the play.
So I was curious, and you know, I wanted to address that because there's an audience question. And this is more for Jake, and you know, I know Nico. I think maybe you you did a celebrity deal too, or am I not understanding this correctly?
Yeah. So yeah.
'Cause I know you had a box too, right?
No, so it's the same box.
Oh,
so
sure,
it's actually
sure.
very, very similar. So we kind of cross play right here, right? So I'll let you ask Jake about his deal with Logan and so forth, and then I'll.
So I'm curious, Jake, because I mean Logan's a pretty big YouTuber, and I'm pretty sure, you know, whether you're a big, you know, YouTuber, if you like YouTube personalities or not, he's definitely on up there. I mean, he's up there enough to where like PewDiePie talks about him and, you know, shit like that. So I'm curious, like, how do you go from, you know, I mean, semi-celebrity crypto Twitter, right, to, you know, fucking rubbing shoulders with Logan Paul? I mean, that like, what happened there? I mean, did you reach out to him and you were like, yo, you know, I heard you like Pokemon cards, like check all this shit out, I got everything, or, you know, did he see what you had going on and he reach out to you? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, no, that's the worst idea. You're not supposed to reach out to anyone and try to sell your stuff. If people want something you have, they'll reach out to you. If you're reaching out to them, you're already a step behind. So I woke up a random morning to probably 10 messages from Logan saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. What are pricing on this, this, and this? And I responded. He wanted pricing under market pricing, but at the same time, I knew it would come with meeting Logan and any publicity associated.
Oh, sure. That was a sweet deal.
And he had no Pokemon cards at the time. Funniest thing in the world, like, he has a Squirtle tattoo on his hip that's like in a bunch of his videos, but he had no Pokemon cards, like didn't own any. So I'm like, Logan, we got to get you situated with cards. We got to get you a box. We got to get you set up, basically. And so I told him basically how my Pokemon hustle worked, how I invested in these cards and they appreciated, and how with how nostalgic he was. I mean, he has a tattoo. He has one tattoo and it's a Squirtle. So with how nostalgic he was, I'm like, listen, why not invest some money in what you love? And you do influencing and you do social media anyways. So why don't you just do a box opening of the most famous Pokemon box and go from there? And so I didn't sell him the box. I was just the one who gave him the idea on why don't you source one of these? At the time, I didn't even have one. Yeah. So when I told Logan about the idea, he loved the idea. He bought a bunch of cards. The first cards he ever bought were directly from me. So I flew out to LA, met him, made a little recording with him.
So you went to his house, right?
Yeah, where he records everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, he is like the most humble, legitimate guy. A lot of people have like a bad taste in their mouth because of like videos he's made over the years. I mean, hasn't everyone made like mistakes? I thought it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Like, why would you work with him? I'm like,
yeah. I mean, he's always seemed like a pretty cool bro, you know. I mean, he seems like a bro. How about that? You know.
No, he's as bro as they come. Real boxer, real investor, humble, intelligent. I mean, anything you'd want in like a homie is who he is. It's just everyone in the world wants to be his homie because he's Logan Paul.
Yeah, sure.
So,
He's also young. He's also young when he made a lot of those videos, so you can't really blame him, right? When you got a 22-year-old, you know, making stupid videos, making ridiculous amount of money. I mean, look, we were all fucking dumb as shit at 22.
Yeah. Dude, I was an idiot. I was the worst.
Dude, I was doing fucking so much cocaine when I was 22. Just being a complete fucking idiot. Like, you know, I don't even know what the fuck I was doing in Florida at that time. Like, I mean,
I don't even want to talk about what I was doing when I was 22.
Yeah, I mean, cut the kid some slack. You know what I mean? And on top of it, he's like, he's worth 8 figures. So yeah, he's gonna do some stupid shit.
Yeah, for sure. How old is Logan now?
25, and it's kind of coincidental that his 26th year birthday, he'll be 25 when the 25th year anniversary for Pokemon is.
Oh,
so he was like the perfect influencer for Pokemon. He was the perfect figure for Pokemon, and it's not that he was bored. He was just also at home during COVID and interested in something else, and so he could create great content with Pokemon. He's created content that's been trending #1 on YouTube for like the past 3 weeks, like above the new PS4, the PS5, and the Xbox coming out. Like, Logan stuff is trending, and it's Pokemon. So it's like there's nothing better. It's a fantastic.
It's kind of crazy. You had a hand in, you know, steering that moment in history. You know, it's pretty wild to think about. The audience wants to know when Jake Paul.
Jake actually hasn't reached out to me. I was wondering if he'd reach out and like want to buy cards. I mean, his brother did, but I'm not one to reach out to him.
Yeah, you don't want to suck any dick or anything, you know. No.
If he wants cards, he knows where to reach me. Logan literally has my number and calls me fairly regularly. Like, legitimately, they can reach out anytime they want.
So you guys did have a box, right? Because, you know, we've seen the pictures in the car, you know, of the box and the cash. You know, and you guys are flexing your guns and shit like that, and the rollies, and you know, like you guys are doing well for yourselves. Like, what did you sell the box?
Yeah, so that's where I guess my quote-unquote celebrity deal came in from, right? A guy named Chris, who runs a very big YouTube channel called dumbmoney.tv. He throws conferences for financial YouTube. Now this is like a whole, you know, separate section here, but financial YouTube, and he wrote out there that he was looking for a box for 300,000. And a lot of people were tagging me in the box because it was on Twitter, and I guess everybody knows me as a Pokemon guy now on Twitter. So everybody was tagging me in this, and he eventually DM'd me, and he was like, "Yo, everybody's tagging you in this. Like, who the fuck are you? Like you have a box?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have a legitimate box." I showed him. It was really easy because I showed him my partner, which is Jake. And I was like, "Look, Jake was on Logan Paul's stream. This is him. This is like my partner." And it just made it so easy to sell, right? Because when you're buying something that's $300,000+,
yeah, and he's just some rando, I feel you.
Credibility. I'm over here rocking a girl's avatar as my profile photo. It doesn't fucking help. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was very easy just showing Jake off. I was like, "This is fucking Jake." He was, you know, he's selling to everybody. And yes, we do have a box. The guy offered 300,000. At this time, I just sort of didn't really know the market too much. I know I wanted about 350 for the box. That's what we kind of talked about before. So I came in at 400. The guy came in at 350. We came in at 375. And the coolest thing about solidifying this at 375,000 is that it's actually for children's leukemia. The entire box opening. Yeah. So it's at a huge charity event that he's going to be throwing. I don't even know whether I'm allowed to say this, but fuck it, whatever. He's going to be throwing this giant YouTube conference at the end of 2021. And it's going to be just massive influencers. And he's going to open the box live there. And Jake will be on stage with them, doing the same thing he was doing with Logan, talking about the cards. So, and then as soon as we did that deal, 2 other big influencers on Instagram started saying that they wanted to buy a box for 400,000 cash, and they were going to fly to us. So it's kind of strange right there, because we actually got our hands on another box coming around the corner as well. So it's working out. And the thing about it at the end of the day, Messi, is that there's so little supply of these boxes. There's so little supply of the cards, let alone the boxes themselves.
How many fucking boxes are out there?
Like, what do you think, Jake? Like 40?
I'd be surprised if there were 40 left. Like,
yeah. So I was on eBay and I was looking at these boxes, right? And I saw this dude had an ad up for like, he was selling like fucking 10 boxes. Like, he was like $4 million or something like that. Something, something fucking crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's I didn't even
That
know.
price is actually in line. Like if you actually did have 10, 4 million would be 400 a piece, and that's what they're going for right now.
Yeah.
So like it wouldn't even be like an excessive price. Like people are buying it. We just don't have 4 million liquidity like this exact second. But if you wait like a week, you look it up.
Yeah, that's wild.
So yeah, I mean,
anyway.
but the thing about it is that, like, there's not that many supply of these boxes, and then even the ones that are known in circulation, let's say there's 40 of them, right? How are you? Let's just say Gary V owns a box. How are you going to convince Gary V to sell you that box?
You're not.
Like,
He doesn't need the money. He doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna look at you and be like, "All right, I made $100,000 in this box. Like, congratulations, dude." You know what I mean?
Yeah. He doesn't give a fuck.
That's
You're not
the
getting it from him. So, I think this is a good time to bridge into the next topic. Because I did watch the Logan Paul YouTube opening of the box, and that was pretty hype, and everybody was like getting their cards and stuff. And obviously, Jake was one of the last people to get his cards open, and I don't want to bring up a salty moment or whatever, but you didn't get much. But the guy after you got the box that you could have had, and then he talked shit about you on YouTube. So I don't know if you've seen that or not. But basically, I think this guy is he's like an OG Pokemon nerd. This guy's been, had in his what he had fucking like Pokemon on his shelves and like stuffed animal Pokemon and like all this bullshit. So what there's obviously people, and I've read the comments too. There's people that are upset with you guys because they've been doing this for a long time, and now all of a sudden they're mad because they think that you guys are inflating the prices of the Pokemon cards, and you're making the card market go up, and this and that. As a trader, I'm like, okay, what's the fucking problem with that? And honestly, I think these guys should be appreciative that all of a sudden you've been collecting, your life's work has been being a fucking Pokemon nerd. You've been sitting on all this stuff you've been collecting, and now you're probably worth $1 million. And how are you upset with the people, that made you worth so much? Like, what do you guys have to say to guys like that?
It's super simple. There are two types of people in the Pokemon space. They're the ones like you who are strictly investors. I want to buy a Blastoise. If it hits a 30% return, we're exiting the position just like you would Bitcoin if it moved 30% back to USDT, waiting for a drop, pick it back up. So there are investors and then there are collectors. The investors couldn't be happier about what I'm doing in the space. More views means more demand, more influencers means more views. All of it adds to a higher price. Supply and demand 101, econ from high school, super simple. Now, the collectors are a different type of individual. If they've been collecting since 1999, they've been collecting for 21 years now. So they're not like you or I who are like, let's get into the space and make money. It's an investment. Let's capitalize on a 30% return. It's nostalgic, sure, because we grew up with it, but that's basically it. They're a different class of people. And that class of person is someone who doesn't care about price. They either made their money in something else and they have millions or billions, and Pokemon is just like their side, like what reminds them of being a kid, or they're so collector oriented that all they want to do is finish their set. And so if they had 19 of the 20 sets and they had 3 cards left in their last set, and I came into the space, their last Charizard went from 5,000 to 50,000. So the card they've been saving for an entire year, now they will never have. So in their head, they're thinking, wow, Jake's an asshole. He 10x'd the Charizard I wanted to get for Christmas. Instead of saying, wow, Jake 10x'd the million I had in cards, and now I'm worth 10 to 12 million. I should literally be kissing his feet. So the collectors don't care about the money. They care about their collection. And I made it hard for them to complete whatever they had left in their collection. So
you're saying that's part of like the scarcity of these cards, though, right? Is these collectors? It doesn't matter if the Charizard's worth $50,000. They're not gonna fucking sell it. Even if they can't pay their bills, they're not gonna sell their fucking Charizard.
Bingo. And that's why the value will always be there, which is why I'm not so sure we'll ever pop this bubble. It could just keep inflating. Just like collectible cars or the Picasso paintings, we could be in a different echelon of collectibles. And if it is, then the bubble won't pop. It'll just keep going. Especially with next year being the Olympics in Japan. Nintendo's going to sponsor it. Nintendo's biggest product is Pokemon. We know what Nintendo's going to do with that. Pokemon Go is going to be all over the stadium. So we have Christmas coming up. We have the 25th year anniversary next year. We have the Tokyo Olympics, and we have Nintendo sponsoring. I mean, plus influencers coming into the space.
Yeah, send it.
Bubble goes. yeah, maybe we're in a bubble, but as far as predicting bubble pop, we've got 8 months of nothing but influencer after influencer after influencer after major marketing campaigns going live.
Right.
So,
and yeah, more people are going to be hopping on. More people are going to be talking about this. Like, and it's a worldwide phenomenon too. So you're totally right about that. You know, I was curious before this. You know, you were saying that you've got some of like the biggest deals in Pokemon history, you know, coming up, and I think this week and maybe next week too. And you said you were going to talk about that a little bit. And of course, if the buyers are anonymous and don't want to be talked about, don't mention them or whatever. But how did these deals like come into being? Of course, you've got some notoriety in the space now, so I'm sure as you said, people are reaching out to you. They know you're the plug right now for Pokemon. So they know where to come. But what's going on with these deals?
So go ahead, Jake.
This one was your deal.
No, yeah. So long story short, I think the main thing that we have, and whatever you want to call it, right, alpha, edge, whatever you want to say, right, like in any trading space, is that you have a network. And right now, the network in Pokemon, especially for the big collectors, is so small. And people coming in with actual capital is so rare, right? Being able to have your hands on $300,000 liquid cash is not something your average person can do. Jake is fortunate enough to be able to do that, which is why he has this network that not many people has. And over the course of 5 months, being on Logan's podcast, showing himself front and center and being able to actually interact with these big time sellers and gaining the trust of them, is, I guess, the alpha. The thing about it is that we don't do that many sales on eBay. A lot of our sales are done in person, face to face, or done, over, Instagram or whatnot, but it comes with the territory, right? Having that notoriety. I mean, if you're going to spend $10,000, wouldn't you rather spend $10,500 or $10,200 knowing that you're dealing with somebody credible, or buying it from some anon on eBay that you could get fucked by?
Dealing with somebody credible, getting hand delivery. If you have any fucking questions, you know who to ask. You got their phone number. I feel
where you get the white glove service, right? So you're getting that from dealing with Collectibles Group. You're getting that from dealing with our company, Crypto Luxury. So it's a little bit different in that sense. So for this week, what we're doing is, I told you that guy Chris, we're actually going to Texas on Monday to sell the box to him in person. We're going to be doing a live stream. It's going to be a huge event, and it's going to be a massive play. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and buy another box.
He's paying cash for that.
Paying cash. It's going to be a huge event. It's going to be front and center. And then Jake, you can talk about the buying of the box.
How much space does $400,000 take up? I mean, is that a fucking duffel bag full of cash? Like, how much does that weigh? Like,
it's a lot, Messi. I've had 100K on my table before. It's a lot. I mean, 100K will fill up a full backpack.
No shit.
Hundreds, yeah. Stacked.
How do you guys get that home? I mean, you got to drive home. I mean, how do you go through the fucking airport with 400K?
Private jet, Messi. Private fucking.
I was about to say, are you taking it? Are you taking PJ?
I mean, I think so.
That'd be sick.
We gotta figure something out, but it's gonna. It's a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? And that's when I made it very well known on Twitter the other day. I'm like, look, at the end of the day, like, if I'm dealing with you in a large amounts of money, like, we're coming strapped. You have to understand that, like, it's a cash deal, and I mean, like, I won't.
Yeah, you're not gonna fucking rob me, or
I'm not gonna hesitate to pull the trigger on you if you fuck with me. It's simple as that. But Jake, please talk about the buying deal part of that.
Yeah, so basically people reach out to me that are big buyers or big sellers because very few people have the clientele for the items or the liquidity to buy an item of that caliber on the spot. So a seller reached out to me with a box, almost what we paid for our box. Excuse me, not what we paid for our box, almost what we sold our box for. And we basically sourced for almost within 10% of what we paid. What we were given on the box, we sourced the new one within 10% of the same price. So we didn't even make that much margin on like the flipping of the box in replacing it, because the whole concept was, as these guys open another first edition box, they're only going to drive the value more. So we want to make sure in our stock we have another first edition box. Right. So we offered another seller almost the entire price we were offered from the buyer of our box in cash, which helps them avoid crazy eBay and PayPal fees. and they accepted. Obviously, if they avoid eBay, they avoid like a 14% fee, and so saving them that $30,000-$40,000 was a major win. Not to mention, it's going to be hand delivered by cash. It's going to be the YouTube videos, the TikTok videos, social media blowout, all that along with that.
Yeah,
So
it's for the kids, man. It's for the kids.
That's so how does this, like, you said they're going to be opening at 25th anniversary, you're going to have this dude, you're going to have Logan Paul, like they're going to make a huge spectacle. I'm sure they're going to raise a fucking $1 million for charity.
Yeah.
Which is sick that you guys have a hand in that. Like, how does this money go then from this box to charity? Like, does the influencer, are they going to say, well, hey, I'm not in this to make any money, I'll break even, and whatever we sell beyond that is going to charity? Is it like people are going to donate while they're watching the YouTube stream because they're going to provide entertainment, and then you show up because it's kind of a it's a charity event and people are going to donate $10 here, $1,000 here, whatever? How does that work?
So it's the pack. So each pack is going to be sold for, I don't know, they haven't discussed the amount of money for each pack is going to be sold for, just like Logan did, right? And all of those proceeds towards that pack will be given to charity directly. So they're going to be raising close to $400,000+ for charity, almost guaranteed, by selling the box packs. And then on top of that, of course, it's a capitalistic society, so I'm sure they'll be getting some gain off of it, right? Exposure in the YouTube community, having these influencers there, the event itself, right? You'll be getting some money there.
Millions of views.
Yeah, so they're going to be getting something, but I know that the box itself is going to be for children's leukemia, so it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. That's fantastic. I've never been in a private jet, so I hope you guys do take that opportunity to go ahead and hop on the PJ.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sick.
Once BTC's at 20K, we'll all do it.
Not 20K. I mean, quit fudding, bro. Yeah, we're gonna. I think we're all about to get hilariously rich. We'll just see. We'll see what happens here over the next months.
Yeah.
Now, while I have you guys here, you guys aren't just, like Pokemon card guys. Obviously you both do some trading and some crypto investing and shit like that. Is there anything you guys want to talk about crypto-wise? I want to hear, like, both of your prediction on what you think the next ATH for Bitcoin is going to be, or the next top for Bitcoin is going to be, and when that'll happen. Is there any bags you want to shill or talk about that you're excited about? Or are you guys just like straight up Pokemon?
No, just fucking look, guys. At the end of the day, buy fucking Hxro. Okay, I've been chilling Hxro. Not as long as Messi, of course, but I've been chilling Hxro for a long time now. Since I think I got into Hxro at 3 cents, I believe. So I've quite a bit of it. I love the project. I love the team. Obviously, I know the guys. So that's like a no-brainer to me, right? Besides that, for me, in terms of projects in the space, I actually have an upcoming project called CoinDust about to launch. It's actually in beta right now, and we are looking like we might partner up with Charlie Shrem on it. It's a micro investment app, very similar to Acorns. Rounds up your change to nearest dollar, then it takes that and invests into crypto. So we have different aspects coming to that app. So that is currently in beta right now. And then I guess in terms of trading, I think my top for Bitcoin on this next leg up, I would say personally, and now people are gonna be fucking hate this, I think it's gonna be like 28,000-30,000 max. I think that's just me. I think that the connotation of Bitcoin being 100K is still not there yet. I could maybe another 10 more years or something like that I could see that, but I personally don't see that. I think that we're gonna have a nice, ramp up on Bitcoin for next probably about 8 to 13 months, and that's sort of gonna hit that top portion, and that's kind of my prediction.
You know what's funny, and I know you said people are gonna hate you for that, but we interviewed Dan Matuszewski from CMS Holdings maybe a month ago, and he's CMS is one of the people that's one of the institutions that's invested in Hxro token, and they're one of our liquidity providers through our LPP program. But he said the same thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not crazy, guys.
I don't think you're crazy at all.
I'm not crazy, right? And I know so many fundamentals get so mad at me because I'm like very real, guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, don't let your bias, stop you from making money. You can make money going up, and you can also make money going down if you're not just a spot trader.
So what about you, Jake? What do you think?
So I'm big into the big two, Bitcoin and Ethereum are my long-term projects, but I'm also big into upcoming projects that are doing like unique things. And as you know, I'm big into Pokemon. And so one of the projects that's kind of not assisting the Pokemon space, but kind of building off of it is Bondly. They had they're doing a token sale. They're going live in the next few months. They've got an NFT program and an Hxro program that I think will be absolutely fantastic for both the Pokemon space and the crypto space is like a crossover. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. It's one of the few projects I'm excited to work with and one of the few projects that actually has like crossover with the NFTs that I see real utility in. Right now, I don't see utility in most NFTs. And I think Bondly's found a way to cross over into the utility for NFTs while also creating escrow service for people.
And can you say that name again? What's it called?
Bondly, Bondly.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a project that's coming out in the next few months. I really like it. I'm working with the top two guys on the team as far as a little bit of consulting goes regarding how to do the NFTs in a manner that creates utility. And I think it's going to be, I think they're going to blow it out. I think they're going to do really well with it.
And Jake, you also said, you know, and I think this is maybe a collaboration, you know, between you and your friends and Nico, but you guys are working on a luxury crypto goods spot, right? What exactly is that? You know, what kind of implications does that have for people that are, you know, moon boys that are riding the Bitcoin moon that are looking to buy, you know, Rolexes and, you know, maybe nice cars and Pokemon and, you know, baseball cards. They're looking to diversify in other things with their Bitcoin. How does that work? And what do you guys, you know, plan on offering at first and then, you know, branching into?
Yeah, so just right off the bat, you know, it's going to be a platform called CryptoLuxury.io. It should be here, launch here within the week. What we're going to essentially do is provide these asset goods, these high valuable asset goods like watches, Pokemon cards, and accept cryptocurrency behind it, right? So you're gonna be able to interact with this, not have to deal with eBay, crazy eBay fees and all these crazy transaction fees that you would get, you know, PayPal locking you down because all of a sudden you're buying $10,000 Pokemon cards. You're not gonna have to deal with any of that stuff. We'll be accepting crypto, and, you know, after a certain echelon amount, we will also, you know, have this white glove service, right? We have both vaulting services where, you know, we can keep your card in a facility that's, you know, very secure for you in your name, or we can go ahead and, you know, hand deliver it. These kind of services become available to you. And what that does is that just gives one, a sense of security because it's based on us, and we're pretty reputable, I feel. And number two, it allows you to bypass the middleman. So not only are you typically going to get a better price than you will on eBay because we don't have to charge you a ridiculous fee every single time, but you know that you're going to get a quality product. You know, there's no fakes, there's none of that stuff. All of our stuff is completely graded, authenticated directly, and yeah, we just, you know, we stake our.
I mean, when you say vaulting though, that doesn't mean that it's in the drawer next to your bed, right? In your bedroom.
No. This would be like in like a proper bank vault or
sure.
You know,
I got you.
At like, you know, a proper bank.
Right. I was about to say, I know you guys are armed, but I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm not holding $10 million worth of assets even for me. You know, I don't give a shit.
Right.
You know, Gatling gun or something. But yeah, no, it would be properly vaulted and so forth, and yeah, everything is going to be done on a very, very excellent level.
Okay, that sounds exciting. And Jake, you know, we never heard from you. Do you have any kind of prediction for the Bitcoin price and where it's going, and how long it's going to take?
Yeah. On that, I think we pull a 30x from the bottom, and I threes. So 3,400 times 30x, we're looking at about $100,000 in Bitcoin, give or take 10%. So I think we flirt with 100,000 on the next run up when we actually break the prior all time.
So it will be interesting to see if stock to flow holds up, you know, because it has held up, you know, thus far, but, you know, there are concerns in scalability and, you know, I keep thinking, you know, what are the reasons that the last bubble popped, you know, and I think a big part of that was the infrastructure, you know, for crypto wasn't exactly ready for the influx of users, you know, that came into the space, you know, and I've got a story where, you know, I withdrew a large amount from Coinbase. It never hit my fucking bank account, you know, and they tried to act like it did. And I had to jump through so I sent them a support ticket and they never got back to me. 3 months later, you know, I had to get a lawyer to send them a letter. I contacted like the CFTC and got them to write them. And finally, when there was all this pressure coming in from outside sources, all of a sudden, oh, we're so sorry, we forgot about blah, blah, blah. But I think more people than just me had that experience. And especially, you know, I've been here a long time. I'm used to getting fucked by exchanges, you know, but you had new people entering the space that had been using E-Trade and, you know, Robinhood and other places like that. I don't even, was Robinhood even around back then? I'm not quite sure. And they came in and they had that experience and they said, fuck this is a scam.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, look, the other day, this happened to me 4 days ago or 5 days ago. I did a transaction with UB, crypto trader UB, you know, big trader, great. I mean, he's a great guy. And he sent me over USDC and it didn't populate any of my Ethereum UIs platforms. So MetaMask, Trust Wallet, my Ether wallet, all three of them didn't pick up the transaction, even though it was in my Etherscan, it was in my wallet. So I couldn't interact with the dough. And that's when I opened the support ticket. Coinbase hit me back up, luckily. I think maybe it's because I'm a bigger account. And I was able to get that figured out. But I spoke with Charlie Shrem about it, and he was telling me how there was a gas issue the night before, and that some of the UI platforms, something like that, were lagging. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't pretend to understand the technicals behind it.
Sure.
But if I'm in this space pretty regularly, and I don't consider myself that stupid of a guy, and I was dealing with this, can you imagine like a 60-year-old grandmother or something like that who like, or 70-year-old person who needs their money, you know, to buy medicine? Like, how are you going to explain to them that they can't get access to their money for 24 hours or 48 hours because of a UI issue?
You can't. They're going to be mad as hell.
They're mad as fuck. So PayPal, that's what, you know, the PayPal coming in, I think was a fantastic thing because there's actual credibility behind it.
So, you know, we have been going for about an hour here. You know, I don't want to keep you guys forever. And, you know, we really do appreciate you guys coming on, kind of telling your story and all that. I'm sure there's things that I missed, you know, that we could have talked about, but I think we got pretty broad coverage here. Just in case anybody was looking to get into this Pokemon space and, you know, maybe they want to start their own hustle, or maybe they just want to be collectors and, you know, maybe they want to access you guys and get these cards. Two final questions, okay? The first being, you know, if somebody did want to start their own hustle at this point, do you have any recommendations, you know, tips from the things that you've learned, maybe mistakes that you've made along the way that could, you know, kind of save them from making those same mistakes? And number two, if they do want to get in touch with you guys to purchase some of these cards and, you know, be a part of this for the next year as the 25th anniversary approaches, what's the best way to get in contact with you and to go ahead and purchase these assets? Do you take Bitcoin, Ethereum? You know, how does that work?
You want to go ahead, Jake?
Sure. So easiest way to reach me personally is via Instagram because I'm not so great about answering Twitter messages, and it's Collectibles Guru on Instagram. So as far as getting involved in the space, it's super simple. If you haven't gotten involved in the space, ask your neighbor who knows nothing about Pokemon, what Pokemon do they remember? The answer is literally always the same. It's Charizard, it's Pikachu, it's Blastoise, it's Venusaur. Unless they're going to name starters, like the 3 starters, those are what everyone says. Stick to those. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. There's no reason to be buying cards outside of the big 3. Yes, the 16 holos are great, but who can afford 16 cards all at once, all at the same time? So if you're a new investor with a limited supply of money, buy the highest end cards that you can afford in the big 3. Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur, and if you want to venture into Pikachu or the other holographics, feel free to.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things, right? Like, would you rather buy 1 Ethereum or like 500 of some random shitcoin, right? It's quality matters. And yes, you know, could potentially one of these other cards moon for some odd reason? Of course, it could potentially happen, but the chances of that happening are very low. You know, go with if you have, you know, let's just say you have $5,000, spend that $5,000 maybe on one solid card and then build your collection from there that you know will go up. So like Jake said, the big 3.
And it's definitely like a sit on your hands situation. I mean, in y'all's opinion, right? I mean, if you're going to buy, you know, that $5,000 card, it's, you know, like, look, we've got all this hype, like straight up hype for the next year going on, influencers, charity events, there's all sorts of exposure. I mean, basically buy it with the knowledge that, hey, I'm going to be holding this for the next maybe at least 6 months. right?
Dude, I mean, I wish I
Yeah.
could tell myself that. Trust me, like as a trader, because we're trading, right? And we're going for these 30% margins and so forth. I mean, great. Our company is doing great. We're making money, fantastic. But a lot of times, like for example, with Rookie, I sold Rookie his cards 2 weeks ago, and he is already up 140%.
Wow.
It's up 140% on his entire. He gave me 20 grand. That 20 grand is now worth 50 plus $1,000 right now,
Wow.
just in those cards. And he bought some more, and they're immediately worth more right now. So yes, definitely. If you don't know what you're doing when it comes to trading these cards and like knowing how to flip them, then absolutely sit on them and go from there. I have personally offered every single person I've sold cards to buy them back, and only 30% of people have agreed to it. Literally, Rookie laughed at me even though I offered him 100% on his cards. Within 1 week, I offered him 100% to buy him back for 40,000. He was like, no, it's okay. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, just be in it for the long haul. But yeah, back to your question about getting a hold of us. For me, you can just DM me on Twitter. We accept crypto. I accept Ethereum, Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC. Those are the 4 that I accept, and yeah, I can help you out with pretty much anything you want.
Word. What about you, Jake? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Instagram's much easier for me. Just because that's where I do the majority of the Pokemon sales. But Z and I are partners, so if you reach out to me on Instagram, Collectibles Guru, or Z on his Twitter, either one will be perfect. And I'm sorry, it started raining on me while I was outside. Welcome to Florida.
No worries, brother. I mean, do you guys have anywhere that do you like have an inventory people can browse through though, or is that something that's coming with the crypto luxury?
See that. So cryptoluxury.io. Right now you can already put your email inside of it, and you can start signing up for signups. But you're gonna see our inventory there. Now, of course, if you want something on the higher end, like for example a Charizard 9 that's first edition, or even a 10, we can definitely source some of these things out for you. We can definitely give you pricing, but we just want to make sure that you're serious, because it takes a lot of time, right? Like if I'm gonna source out a $250,000 card for you, I need to know that you're actually good for that kind of money, right? Because I'm not gonna spend 4 hours talking with all of my suppliers about this if you've got $10 to your name.
Right.
Yeah. I'll do it for you, Messi. I'll do it for me. I know you're good for it, but yeah,
thank
for
you,
other
brother.
people, nah, it's difficult.
I'm about to say you guys don't want me to buy Pokemon cards, because I guarantee you that's gonna mark the top, and I literally guarantee it.
Yeah, and also I don't want you to compete with us.
No,
that's the main thing. That's the main thing.
Well, I've got super strong hands. I'm typically not like a flipper. So I mean, if I were to buy anything, it'd be something that I'd be holding on to a little bit. And once again, like I said, I don't even know if my wife would ever look at me the same. If instead of buying her like a new Chanel bag or something like that, I came home with a fucking Pokemon card in plastic with a number 9 on the top, man, I would get my ass beat for that. 100%.
That's awesome.
But guys, hey, seriously, for real, I really, really appreciate you guys both coming on. I mean, this has been nuts. I've really enjoyed like getting to hear more about it, and getting to know you both a little better. Although I've already, like Nico said, we've already hung out before, even though he blew me off a couple times in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm about to say I've been giving you hell for that for maybe like a year now.
I'll make it up to you, I promise.
Yeah, you will. Don't worry, you will. But anyway, Jake, I hope we get to meet someday, brother. And both of you guys, take it easy, and we are going to go ahead and end this here.
Thank you.
Give me just a second to shut it down, guys. I can't find where my fucking Periscope went.
That's
Sorry.
hilarious. Dude,
Hold on.
Well, man, you guys are killing it. It's awesome.